All right, guys. Again, welcome to the Power Hour. Go ahead and put yourself on mute if you're not already on mute. There's some people that may not be on mute, so let's make sure that you guys are all on mute. That way we don't have any echoes and whatnot. Let's see. Let me make sure everybody's in. Cool. All right, so I'm excited. I'm going to start this training, and the idea is to be done in 30 minutes. I'm going to kind of go through it. Now, that never happens. That's always the idea, but it never happens in 30 minutes. But that's what's going to be my goal. Now, before we get started with this training, there's a short video that I want to share with you that is very exciting. Okay, so give me 1 second, and I'm going to share my screen. Cool. And where is it? Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, 1 second here. Microphone array, test switch on audio, leave your audio. 1 second, guys. Let me stop sharing my screen, then I'm going to do this again. So share sound as well. Yes, share sound as well. All right, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you do. Yes. All right, guys. So here's the deal. We've got the Mentor Factory. It's official. If you go to solarmentorfactory.com. And by the way, let me give a shout out to a couple of folks. But the first one I'm going to give a shout out to is Ramsey. Ramsey lives in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, or Texas. Is it Florida, Ramsey?
Yes, Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. Got it. I was just there earlier this year. Took my family for a week to Disney World. And I'm going to go back again. Matter of fact, Florida's where I'm going to end up living in the next 2 years. But anyways, as soon as I announced it and I put the link up to the tickets, Ramsey from Florida was the very first person, to buy it. Literally 2 minutes after I put it, he had already purchased his ticket. About 5 minutes after that, he had already purchased his airplane ticket. That is called commitment, right? Because this training is a 2-day training with the 5 of the top mentors. By the way, just announced, Charles Thompson is going to be training at the Solar Mentor Factory. This is, by the way, don't confuse this with mentors only. This is not for mentors only. You guys understand? Mentor Factory, what does a factory do? It produces things, right? We're going to produce not only mentors, but we're going to produce some of the top performing mentors. You've got people that are going to be training on there. By the way, nobody's going to be training there is making less than $150,000 a year. Now, some people are making $500,000. Some people are making $2 million a year that are going to be training for an entire weekend. So my encouragement would be, guys, get your tickets. October 20th, the price goes up. Okay. Right now, you guys could go out there and get your tickets for, let's see, Solar Mentor Factory, $149. Okay. So this is the website. Okay. This is my little commercial, and then we're going to be done with this. So if you go to solarmentorfactory.com, we've got the website up. Okay, November 13th and 14th, Anaheim, California. It's a 2-day event. Some of the things we're going to be training on, some of the speakers, the location. The tickets right now are $149. A couple, if you're coming with a couple, $249. You save $50. As of, it's actually October 20th is when the price goes up, right? So this is going to get edited. So this is up until the 20th. That means that by the 20th, the price is now $50 more. Okay, $199 or a couple is $349. So I would highly encourage if you're going to come out, get your ticket ASAP. You can go through the Eventbrite link, or you can buy your tickets right here via PayPal. Okay, so that would be my encouragement to you guys. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this training. Now, we're in the sales business, okay, guys, and I'm going to be breaking down some of the things that have helped me out. Okay, and I did this training months ago, but I did a little bit of edits to it, some things that were more important and a little bit of a better order. There's not a particular order to this training, okay, but I want to get into how to become a better salesperson, because, and here's the deal, everybody's a salesperson. Even if you don't get paid for selling, we've been selling through our life. Yesterday, my son sold me on why we should get him, or let him buy, I should say, a new Lego Mario set. Now, he buys it with his own money because he earns his own money, 7 years old now. But he needs to earn it, right? And so he sold me on why, he deserved it. So we've always been in sales. So with that being said, let's get started. So number one, guys, how to become a better salesperson is the best salespeople major in majors. They don't major in minors, okay? What do I mean by that? You've got the average person, what they do is that they major in minors, and we're going to get into. So for example, prospecting is the biggest major you can focus on when you're in sales. Prospecting. You cannot find customers without prospecting. The average salesperson majors in minors, right? What are minors? Let's get into what some of the minors are, right? And you want to remember this. You want to major in majors. What is a major activity? What are the majors to making big money? What are the majors to closing sales? So what are the minors? Designing, for example, business cards, designing flyers, shirts. By the way, that's supposed to say shirts, not shorts, right? So designing shirts and business cards and flyers and whatnot. I don't do that kind of stuff in the middle of the day. I do that like on a Sunday. I do that like at the end of the day if I have to do it. But I delegate for somebody else to do that, right? If possible. Looking at your back office, studying your back office. Let me see how everything in the back office works. What? Do you have a ton of deals in the pipeline already? You can figure out how the deals in the back office work once you got some deals in the back office, right? Overstudying, gossiping, complaining. They're getting ready to get ready. And by the way, let me give you this. We're going to build a huge sales organization. Here's one of the big no-nos. Guys, and I can see, and by the way, for those of you guys that don't have your cameras on, please turn your cameras on if you can. If you can't turn your cameras on, that's cool. I don't want you to get in trouble, but if you could turn on your cameras, I would really appreciate if you guys turn on your cameras. Okay, guys? Because I like to interact with people while I'm doing this training. So here's the deal. Can we agree that in any business, and this business is no different, there's going to be some setbacks, some challenges? Can we agree by show of hands and on the chat? Yes. So here's the deal. There's no difference between this business. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be challenges. Are deals going to fall through? Are there going to be problematic deals? Of course, it's going to be problematic deals. Here's one of the things about building a huge sales organization that you must understand, and this is the culture and the training that we're building with our organization. Here's what it is. Negativity goes up, meaning to your leadership. Who are your sponsor tree? Who are the leaders that got you involved in that are training you? Negativity only goes up. It never goes sideline, downline, never goes to the organization. If you've got a problem, if you've got some concerns and some doubts, go to the leadership. Positivity goes everywhere. You just close a deal, mention it on the groups. Mention it to your team. You just got paid a commission. You just left your job. Mention it to everybody. Here's why. And it's pretty obvious, I think. But here's the deal. Whenever you're going out there, let's say, for example, I got somebody says, oh man, this install's taking 3 months. Then I check the install. Dude, your customer hasn't been answering for the last month. It had an HOA. They had to get signatures from their, their neighbors, and they haven't done it. But then that person let a bunch of people that were not even a part of their team know, and it puts doubt into other people's team. Let me tell you something. If we catch stuff like that, if I catch stuff like that, I'm removing those people from the team. All right, I don't play that stuff. I'm just telling you right now, because I'm not going to let anybody affect the business of somebody else on the team and put doubt, unnecessary doubt into somebody else. Does that make sense, guys? Right? So this is a leadership play. And let me tell you something, man. The only time you're not going to have ups and downs is when you're dead, right? You ever see somebody connected to a machine, right? Their heart rate's going like this, up and down. The only time you're not going to have ups and downs is when you're dead. And guess what? We get paid based on the size of the problems that we solve. Also, there's some problems. You should be grateful. We all should be grateful to have these problems. Oh, I got a deal that's got a problem. Aren't you grateful you got a deal that has problems? Because there's people that they don't even have a deal. They wish they had some problems that you do. That they collected an M1 commission, that they're on the way to collect the M2 commission. So that's one of the things that we're going to be covering at the Mentor Factory is developing a bulletproof mindset and how to handle these things, right? So also majoring and minors is people are trying to reinvent the wheel. They're trying 1 million different things before they master one. I got a guy that got started in Las Vegas, sharp young man. It's not a part of the business anymore. He went door knocking for like 2 days in 1 week. Then he says, I'm going to try the new homeowner list. And he went and did the new homeowner list 1 day. Then he says, I'm going to buy leads. And he bought leads and he started calling leads for about two or 3 days. Guys, you're never going to master. Some people, the trick isn't to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. As a matter of fact, Bruce Lee has a famous quote, and a lot of you guys know I'm a martial artist, been a martial artist since I was 10. He says, I do not fear the man that has practiced 1 million kicks one time. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 1 million times. How many of us can relate with that? Does that make sense? Yes. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 1 million times, because guess what? That person mastered that kick. Even though they've only got one kick, they're going to hit me with that one kick. So some people, for example, you've got Mr. David Perez. That dude has mastered the door-to-door sales. He doesn't reinvent the wheel. He says, I'm going to go do door-to-door sales until I get to mentor. Guess what? He got to mentor. Right now, he's mastering the team building and the recruiting side. And he's pretty good at it, but he's better at the door-to-door sales. He didn't go out there and try to do the new homeowner list and then try to call leads and then try to do this and then try to do that. He went out there and he got the necessary sales by going door to door. Guess what? That dude closes sometimes 2 same-day deals in a day. Imagine going door knocking, finishing off the day with 2 customers that you met that very day and you close that same day and made $14,000 in commissions. What business can you do that? You can't do that in any other business. You can't do that in real estate. You can't go out there and meet somebody today and put them in escrow today. Get a signed contract. You can do that with solar. You can go out there and make $7,000. How many of you guys would like to learn how to be a good door-to-door salesperson, or at least have those skills? Absolutely. But guess what? He majors in majors. When I got started, I did the new homeowner list. I went and I visited minimum 4 days per week, about 25 hours a week on the doors. The rest of the time, another 20, 30 hours, I was on the phones, building a team and getting customers over the phone. And then I was visiting new homeowners. And I didn't care about the yeses or the nos. I just cared about the activity. If I do the right activity, the proper way, with a great attitude, it's going to yield a certain amount of results. That is majoring in majors. Here's the majors. Let's get it. What are some of the majors that the best salespeople and the best leaders focus on? Because the best leaders focus on majors. They identify the minors. The minors, the only reason, for example, let me give you an example of a little minor. The only reason why I would focus on washing my own car, for example, is if I want to get the cardio and get some sun, right? Hey, man, I didn't go to the gym today. I'm going to burn calories washing the car, and I need some sun, some vitamin D. God put the sun on there for a lot of reasons, and one of those reasons is because it's good for us. But other than that, I'm not going to be washing my car, which is whatever it costs, $20 an hour job or whatever the heck it is. You know why? Because that hour I could spend on major things that make more money. So some of the majors in this business, door knocking. You want to get to mentor? What if it took you 6 months? What if it took you a year to get to mentor? And you had to go door knocking for a year. And what if, you know, let's say you never sold solar, you learned solar, you learned door knocking, took you a year on, and you only closed the eight required deals in a year. What's 8 times 7, guys? 8 times 7. What is that? Is that 56?
56,000.
56.
6,000. So what if you went out there and made 56,000 your first year in solar? Would that be a bad year? And you learned a bunch of stuff. You built a little team, right? You made some overrides, and it took you a year to get there because you were focused on majors, right? So now calling more market, co-market, being productive. How much, what are the things that move the needle? Visiting new homeowners. I have a new homeowner training. That's what I did. I did new homeowner list for 2 months and 3 weeks. That's how long it took me to get to mentor. Simultaneously, I built a team. So it took me 2 months and 3 weeks to build a team of 40 people to get to mentor. By the time I got to mentor, you guys heard it a million times, I never had to go door knocking ever again. I got an abundance of leads. And I give leads away. Every single week I give leads away. Cannot take them. Today, my schedule is booked solid with appointments. We're going to finish off this day. If we don't make $6,000 today, I did something wrong. It might even be 10 the way it's set up. Okay, but guess what? I never missed a training. And then there was these trainings that didn't exist. I said, well, guess what? If these weekly trainings to get people motivated on a Monday don't exist, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just create it. You know, and there's nobody there. There was one person. Now there's over 1,000 people that have come through our organization between consultants and ambassadors. But it had to get started at one point, right? But I majored in majors. So door knocking, cold calling, new homeowner list, going to show the plan, right? So today I've got some appointments also to recruit a couple folks. That's showing the plan. When you hear me say showing the plans, that means present, whether it's presenting to a homeowner or presenting to a prospect that wants to join the business. That's showing the plan. Showing the plan. Showing the plan. How often are you showing the plan? What if you're showing the plan, whether it's customers or whether it's to recruits, 5 to 10 times per week? Where would your business be if you're sitting down with a prospect to recruit them or a prospect to sell them solar 5 to 10 times per week? Now, you duplicate yourself. All of a sudden, you got one guy or girl doing the same. Then 6 months from now, you got 10 guys or girls on a weekly basis showing the plan 5 to 10 times per week. You know what that means? You know what that's called? That's called financial freedom. That's called you're on your way.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
That's exactly. That's called like you're done, right? But guess what? It starts with you majoring in majors. You're not gossiping, right? Here's what happens. There's some organizations that they're focused on production, and some organizations are focused on politics, right? What I mean by politics is gossiping, unproductive stuff, right? Hey, you know, they call you and stuff to complain about something. Hey, call me to congratulate me, or for me to congratulate you on something that you've done. You just collected a utility bill today. You got the interest of a homeowner, you got the bill, you got the appointment. So the top sales professionals, they major in majors. Personal development is important, right? These trainings are important. We get our day started. Listening to podcasts, reading books, all that's important. Guess what? That is, majors are A activity. Personal development is B activity. C activity is a designing of business cards and all that stuff that doesn't move the needle. But throughout the day that I'm working, my focus, major in majors. How many phone calls can I, my goal is to fire off minimum 50 phone calls per day. That's my goal. Notice I didn't say make 50 phone calls. I said fire off 50 phone calls. I look at the phone calls different. I don't make phone calls, I fire off phone calls. I don't go to present deals, I go to close deals. I'm not on my way to present to a homeowner. I'm on my way to help a homeowner go solar. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my goal for the day, right? And I fire off phone calls. So let's keep it moving. Number 2, consistency. Top sales reps are Mr. and Mrs. Consistent. Why? Because they have a daily method of operation. That's what DMO stands for. Daily method of operation. I recommend that you finish your day before you start it. How many phone calls am I going to make, and who am I going to make those phone calls to? This is where where my day is going to lead me to. And that's what I'm going to do. And you know what I do? I master the mundane. The best leaders and the best salespeople master the mundane. I don't reinvent the wheel. When I sit down with a customer, it's the same PowerPoint. I say the same thing. I say the same jokes. I say the same stories. You know why? Because to that one customer, it's the same presentation, right? When I do a presentation, I use the same presentation. I play the same videos. I say the same jokes. I ask the same questions. You know why? I master the mundane. It works. And what I want to do is I want people that are learning from me and doing a presentation with a homeowner and doing a presentation for a recruit. I want them to memorize, to know my next sentences. You know why? Because that way I duplicate myself. You attend enough of those trainings, you attend enough of those presentations, you're going to know how to do it. And one of the best ways to be a good presenter, one of the keys to being a good presenter is to know the presentation ahead of time. Like when I see the slide, I don't have to look at all of the bullet points. I already know those bullet points. So I don't have to be going back and forth, especially if you're a slow reader like me. I'm a slow reader. So I see the first couple words of the bullet point, I already know. Then I just elaborate on that stuff, right? But guess what? Because I mastered the mundane. I'm not reinventing the wheel every single time, right? So the top salespeople are consistent. You guys heard me say, this is one of my most overused phrases. It's an apple a day that keeps a doctor away. Not 7 apples on Sunday. Can we agree? It's an apple a day that keeps a doctor away. How, are you going out there prospecting 5 days a week? If you're full-time and you want to be a solar professional, you should be prospecting 5 or 6 days per week. If you're full-time and you want to be massively successful and you're serious, or let's say you want this to replace your income, there's 3 stages. People that want to supplement their income, people that want to replace their income, and people that want financial freedom. If you're in the last 2 categories, people that want to replace their income or financial freedom, you should be prospecting 5 to 6 days per week with no exception. That doesn't mean that you're doing it full time. Jim Rohn says you work full time on your job and part time on your fortune. If you work 9 to 5 on your job, guess what? You should work 5 to 9 on your Powur business. Go out there and prospect. Go hit some doors. Go pass out some flyers. Go talk to some people. By the way, some of the majors that I didn't mention, new homeowner list, going to show the plan, recruiting people. If you're focused on doing a presentation to recruit people, that's a major. Joining BNI groups. I would highly encourage you. Trust me when I tell you, we're going to be doing a segment on this at the Mentor Factory. I would highly encourage you to join a BNI group. And I'm going to give you like a brief rundown of what they do at BNI. For those of you guys that don't know, it's the biggest networking group in the world. Every major city has a group. There's only one realtor. There's only one solar guy. There's only one roofer. There's only one of every profession. They meet up once a week for about an hour and a half, whether it's via Zoom or in person, to refer business to each other, to learn about each other's business, to get to know each other, and to refer each other business. Jonathan Brunasso gets between 7 and 11 deals every year from there. Do the math. If you're making 7, and he meets with them 1.5 hours per week, going to those events and networking with these professionals, most of them business owners, and they get to know you, see that you're a professional, see that you know what you're talking about, see that you're serious. And the whole goal of this group is to refer their customers to each other. You imagine you getting good with the real estate agent there? And usually the people that join these groups are people that are having the results. So anyways, BNI, that's, I wanted to do a little plug. There's a lot of people on our team that are part of BNI. I would highly encourage you to consider joining a BNI group as a part. Here's should be your goal for you team builders. Your goal should be to have a member from your team in as many BNI groups as humanly possible, as just a part of the system. That's my goal. I want to get 100 people in my organization as soon as humanly possible that are part of a BNI group, and they're committed to going to that BNI group every single week. All right, let's go. Number 3, you want to be charismatic. And guess what? Here's the good news. You could learn how to be charismatic. A lot of people think that being charismatic is something that you either have or you don't have. Let me tell you something. You can develop being charismatic. You can get trained on being charismatic. A charismatic person has the ability to form a sense of connection and understanding between themselves and the prospects. Okay? A charismatic person, here's a couple of little tips. Remember the homeowner's name. Write it down if you want. You're with the homeowner right there. Write down their name and their spouse's name. Practice smiling. Practice active listening. I like to give verbal and physical feedback. When they say something to me, I nod and agree, and I smile. I make noise like, oh, interesting. Okay, got it. And smile. And there's trainings that you can take, free trainings on YouTube on how to be charismatic. But if you want to increase how much money you make, become a more charismatic person. And the good news is you can learn this. There's a myth that people think, oh, that person is just that way. That's not true. You can learn to be charismatic. So one of the traits of a lot of these top performers is that they're charismatic. And the good news is you could be. The next one is action takers. Okay. Understand that you're going to fall on your face. Every stud was once a dud. Learn by doing more than you do by learning. You can learn a lot here. Great. But you know where you're going to learn a lot? I could tell you about how to door knock in the script, but you're going to get significantly better when you go out there and hit the field. I could tell you about how to call your warm market and cold market to get utility bills, to get appointments, but you're not going to learn more. You're going to learn significantly more by actually making the phone calls. You've got to take action. These top sales professionals, they're not procrastinators. They're action takers. They have the philosophy of fire, then aim. The average person has the opposite philosophy. Aim, 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 and they never take action. I would encourage you to take some action. Go out there and start making some phone calls. Fall on your face. Get some rejection. Who cares? Get excited about that rejection. Because you come back and you learn. Write this down. Here's a philosophy of a winner. We win some and we learn some. We win some and we learn some. I don't lose. Even if I don't get the sale, I didn't lose. I learned something. I got better. The thing is that the master failed way more than the disaster. The master failed more times than the average guy was even willing to try. Then guess what? It just eventually gets to the point where you just are on point. So imagine this. What if it takes, this is a philosophy about a salesperson. What if it takes 500 rejections for you to become a successful mentor making $200,000 per year from home? 500. And God says to you, I don't care if you get those 500 in a month, in a year, or in a decade. Doesn't matter. You got to get 500. But here's the thing about that rejection and that failure. The more you spread it out, the more it takes. What do I mean? Let's say it takes you 500 rejections in a year, 500 rejections / setbacks in a year. But if you're slow with it and you want to go through those 500 rejections in 3 years, it won't be 500 rejections it takes for you to achieve success. It'll be 700. You know why? Because unsuccessful people have a lot of starts and stops. Starts and stops. Successful people say, hey man, I want to just get it going. Imagine this. Imagine you start going to the gym for a month, you lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Then all of a sudden you stop going to the gym. You gain back another 5 pounds, right? So you're not going to get to your ideal goal because of that start and stop, right? So you want to make sure that you take action. Let's keep moving. Number 5, use measurable and repeatable sales process, which I mentioned earlier. Master the mundane. Low performing reps, okay, do not have a measurable and repeatable sales process. I do the same thing. I sit down with a customer, I introduce myself, right? For those of you guys that have seen it, I have these presentations recorded. I say, by the way, Mr. Customer, what I like to do with anybody that's looking into solar is I like to go through about 11 or 12 slides of education. It's going to answer some of your questions. It may bring up some additional questions. And then right after that, we'll get into your proposal. Does that sound fair enough? Customer says, yep, sounds fair enough. Awesome, let's get started. Here's a phrase I often say, awesome. As they say in Hollywood, we'll cut to the chase, okay? And I smile. They go, sounds good. Then I get into the presentation. And then guess what? 100 presentations later, I do the exact same thing. I master the mundane. I use a measurable and repeatable sales process. Then I get into the proposal. I show them the numbers. I start at 100% so they can see apples to apples. Then I offer them 115 or 120% offset, and I explain why, and I ask for the sale. Do the same thing every single time. Not reinventing the wheel. Just like my prospecting, I'm not reinventing the wheel on my prospect. I go prospect and I prospect the same way. Doesn't mean that I don't improve or adjust along the way, but I master the mundane. And trust me, that is one of the things that successful people do, is they master the mundane. Number 6, amateurs convince professionals sort, especially in recruiting. The book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie was the richest man in the world when that book was written. Dale Carnegie. If you have not read that book, I would highly encourage you to read that book. You want to become a better leader, you want to become better with people overall, read that book. Dale Carnegie says, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Amateurs convince professionals sort. When I am prospecting people, and let's say Ramsey's interested in the business, say, awesome, Ramsey. I'm not going to explain the whole thing to Ramsey. You know why? First of all, because I'm prospecting a lot, and I've got a lot of people in the pipeline. So I can sort because I choose to always prospect. I'm always prospecting. So I said, Ramsey, I'm going to send you a video that will explain 100% of the information, even better than I can. And it's very consistent. As soon as you're done with that video, you and I can get on the phone, and I'd love to answer any questions you have. Does that sound fair enough? Ramsey says, yes. Awesome. Here's a video. By the way, by what time do you think you would have already watched this so I could follow up? I schedule an appointment to follow up with him. Because recruiting is also selling, right? You're selling them on your opportunity. You're selling to work with you, right? So we're talking about sales. So Ramsey says, hey, man, by 12 o'clock, call me, bro. Sounds good. I'll follow up with you at 12 o'clock. You know what? I have an appointment at 12. How about at 1? Call you at 1. Great. Then I give him a call. Hey, Ramsey, what's up? Did you have an opportunity to take a look at that video? Ramsey said, by the way, I'm going to be covering this at the Mentor Factory. I'm going to be covering how I recruited between 90 and 100 people personally, paid people personally in a year and a half, and how that led to over 1,000 people in the organization between consultants and ambassadors. How many of you guys want to learn how to do that? I'm giving you a little snippet taste of that right now. Let me tell you something, man. If you want to be successful with Powur, you're not at that event, I don't know what you're thinking, man. You should be at that event. If you got to put it on a credit card to get out there and get to the event, I would go to solarmentorfactory.com right now and buy your ticket and invest in yourself. Not only you're doing two things, you're investing in yourself and you're betting on yourself. Would you bet on yourself to win? Well, let me tell you something. If you go to this event, you betting on yourself becomes even more secure because you're going to put yourself 1 year to 18 months ahead of people that don't go. So anyways, when I say, Ramsey, did you take a look at that video, by the way? Yes, awesome. Pretty good stuff, huh? I want to get the prospect in a positive state and on the same page with me. So I don't go, what did you think? What did you think is a worse question? Because what did you think? He could tell me it's too long, right? He could tell me positive or negative. But first of all, I say, pretty good stuff, wasn't it? Ramsey says to me, yes, it was pretty good, man. It was very interesting. Awesome, man. What caught your attention most about what you saw in that video? See, what caught your attention most? I'm asking for a positive response. He could have 9 negative responses and 1 positive. But when I say what caught your attention most, or what did you like most about what you saw, then all of a sudden his brain is automatically going to search for what he liked the most. Even if he has more things that he didn't like, I'm asking him specifically what he liked the most. Does that make sense? And I could get 10 people to watch that video at the same time. Here's the recommendation I would give you about training. Close some deals. Get 10% of your income and invest it back into recruiting. And we're going to cover some of those things at the Mentor Factory. There's so many things that you could do. Posting ads, doing the LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn built-in training that prospects professionals of your choosing automatically for you, right? I don't do that, but I'm going to start doing. The next level of my business is going to be hiring somebody, an international recruiter, that all they do is recruit real estate professionals and solar professionals and network marketers, okay? But guess what? Amateurs convince professionals sort. Now, it's okay to overcome objections. I'm not telling you not to overcome objections. People give me an objection, I'm going to overcome. For example, I want you guys to write down in the chat, what are some objections that you're getting when selling solar or when recruiting? I'm going to look at some of these objections and I'm going to answer some of them. So But while you guys write on the chat, I want you guys to understand. I'm not saying not to overcome objections. Okay. You want to find a balance between overcoming objections and also when you're spinning your wheels. It's also okay to ask a person if they have a genuine interest in what you're offering. Sometimes in a recruiting process or in a sales process, right, for solar, I may feel like the customer is just giving me the runaround, just giving me a bunch of dumb excuses, and maybe I've already overcome them and they just have another one. And then I'll ask them, let's say it's about the business. I'll say, hey, David, let me ask you this. Do you have a genuine interest in what we're doing here with Powur? Or are you just giving me, you know, some objections, but you're not necessarily really interested? Because if you're not, it's okay. I'm a big boy. My feelings aren't going to get hurt. Very often I'll say that to people and they'll say to me, you know what? Yeah, it's just not for me. Hey, you know what? No problem. I don't want to waste any more of your time. And I don't want to waste any more of my time. I felt like maybe that was the case. So I appreciate you being honest with me. With the customer, same thing. Hey, listen, Mr. Customer, let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're very interested in solar and 1 being you're not interested at all, you know, between you and I, just, you know, man to man, would you say that your interest is real or not real? On the scale of 1 to 10, where would it be? You know, we're going to sell a house more than likely in a year. So it's probably like a 2. Fair enough. I appreciate you sharing that information with me. And then guess what? I'm going to go. Why? Because amateurs convince professionals soar. I'm not, even if I close him there and it was super hard to get him across the starting line, he's probably not going to go across the finish line with me. I could spend that time with other people, right? So let me see here. Some people gave some objections. Let's see here. Let me go to the first. Somebody said, asked if Powur is just another MLM company. That's a great question. So when people say, oh, this is an MLM company, you know what? Interesting that you say that. This is actually not an MLM company. Here's the reason why. Let me explain. We don't make a dime. If you join Powur and you recruit 1 million people, you will make exactly $0. In MLM, if you recruit, you're gonna get paid. Bottom line. That's the blood of the business is new recruits. We do not get paid unless solar sold. Number 1. Right. Number 2, you saw the $49 monthly. We don't make a dime. You know, if people pay their $49 monthly, there's no quote unquote residual income that's paid to us on that. We don't get paid a residual. Powur is a direct sales company. So there is a difference. We get paid for selling solar, specifically for selling solar. All right, let's go. Number 7, you want to fill up your pipeline. Deals are going to fall. You let this person in. You want to have a big pipeline by continuing to prospect. Okay, you want to know this ahead of time and manage your own expectations. Prospecting is everything, but the fortune is in the follow. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one, but that goes without saying. You want to have a big pipeline. How do you have a big pipeline? By making phone calls. Here's why. You don't want to have commission breath. You got to have a big pipeline. What is commission breath? Commission breath is when somebody doesn't have enough leads in there because they haven't been prospecting, because they're treating this like a hobby instead of treating it like a business. They don't have a big pipeline, so therefore they've got commission breath. So when they do have that one interested person, they're a little too needy. And let me tell you something, being needy is not attractive. You don't want to be a needy salesperson. You're following up too much. You could, one needy person and one person that's not needy could say the exact same thing. And one of them turns them on, the other one turns them off. Why? Because even the tone that you say it in is different. You don't want to have commission breath where it's obvious and they feel it and they sense it and they hear it that you need the money. But if your pipeline is full, just this weekend, I told a customer to go kick rocks. I'll give you an example. 8 panels. First of all, I did it because of the consultant. I said, no, I said, I don't recommend 8 panels because you're going to.
I want to hear that.
Yes. Okay. So I said, anything under 4 kilowatts, by the way, guys, anything under 4 kilowatts is called a small system. It has a small system fee. That's anywhere from $500 to about $1,500, depending on the area and the installer, right? So I told the customer the worst case scenario, $1,500. So if it's less later on, I got some good news for them, right? Which I believe is an attribute of a great salesperson. I'd rather under promise and over deliver. So the lady was getting eight panels minimum. So we added the small system fee. The bank later comes back and says this is priced too high. It was priced $300. It was priced about $1,200 too high. Guess what? Because of the small system fee. So we contact the customer again. We say, Mrs. Customer, we either have to add 2 more panels, which you're going to get a great deal on. For like $800, you could add 2 more panels. It affects your payment by exactly like $2 a month. You get 2 panels, installed, warranties, everything for $800 more. Just so we make it exactly, because the banks have a price per watt limit that you can sell the customer. It's kind of like if I'm building your home and I charge you price per square foot. The bank has a limit of how much, I'm giving an example, you could charge per square foot. So in this case, it's called price per watt. And so she says, nope, I don't want any more than 8 panels. Stubborn lady. I said, okay. We could go down to the 16,900 instead of 18,300. Approximately, those were the numbers. However, if we go down to the 16,900, there's no $500 rebate that you're going to get, because we are losing more than $500. We're losing about whatever that is, $1,400. So basically we have to eat that. But you won't get the $500 after installation. I just want to make sure we're clear. Matter of fact, Isela helped me with delivering that message. The reason why, and I offered to deliver it, but the mentee and I agreed that it wouldn't be good for me to deliver because the lady, we had already had problems with her beforehand. She was asking us to give her the $500 when she signed the contract. I said, I can't do that. What if you cancel between now and then? That wouldn't be smart. So she was already mad that we didn't give her. She signed the contract, give me $500. I mean, it's completely freaking unreasonable. So long story short, she says, send me the contract. That's fine, send me the contract. She signs a contract for $16,500. And I tell Isela, send an email, CC me in the email. So we've got documentation. Because I already could tell this lady just trying to take advantage. And she puts the term, $16,900. We're covering the $1,400 fee. And we want to make sure that it's understood by all parties. There's no $500 rebate, which is fair, right, guys? So the lady started complaining, blah, 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 about the $500 and saying, you promise and this and that and this and that. I said, tell you what, we're canceling this. Go use another company to go solar with. Have a good day. Bottom line is, I'm not going to let her take advantage of it. I know when, but you know what? The only thing that made me feel better is for the mentee. I wanted the deal for the mentee, not necessarily for me. Not for me. But you want to get to that point, guess what? You got to have your pipeline full and not have that commission breath, right? Let's go. We're going to finish off. There's 3 more. Your network determines your net worth. Network, contact people that have your ideal clients. Build relationships with those people. One of the keys about top performers is that they develop and they nurture relationships with their ideal power players. That is such a key statement. High-performing sales professionals develop and nurture relationships with power players that have their ideal clientele. Who is your ideal clientele? Who has your ideal clientele? I want you guys to say out loud, who has my money? I want you guys to say, I'm looking at your faces. Say, who has my money? Say it. You too, Anthony. I'm looking at your face, Anthony. Say, who has my money?
Who has my money?
There you go. Who's got my money? Hey, David Rendon, who has my money, man? That's right. Guess what? Real estate agents have your money. Roofers have your money. Loan officers have your money. Who do you know that has homeowners? What professionals out there? Guess what? You should build and nurture relationships with those people. Build and nurture relationships with those people. Those are called your power players. Remember, George Foreman said your network determines your net worth. So who has your money? All right, let's go to the next one. Practice active listening. I kind of covered this earlier. A good sales professional listens, right, with his ears, but he also gives physical and spoken feedback, right? Customers is talking to me, telling me about why they're thinking of going solar. Okay, awesome. Makes sense. That's awesome. Well, I'm very excited that you shared that with me. I appreciate it. Anything else? And then I'm nodding my head. Yes, and I'm smiling. I'm being charismatic. I'm using their name. Awesome, Jesus. What about you, Jesus? You know, what about you, Jennifer? Blah, 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 right? So because to people, their name is like one of their favorite words, whether they know it or not. Then guess what? In active listening and in sales, here's a little bonus. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. I almost every single time when I recruit or sell solar, I tell stories. Let me give an example. One of my customers, what he did with the tax credit. He had roughly a $10,000 tax credit when I'm explaining the tax credit, right? Because you can do whatever you want with that money, Mr. Customer. But I'm just giving you a story of one of my past customers. He had a roughly $11,000. By the way, put yourself on mute, Rafael. Okay, thank you. He had roughly a $11,000 interest only credit card with like an 11% interest, high interest. JC, what should I do, man, with the tax credit? Do you recommend I pay down this credit card that I'm paying $300 a month interest only, or put it back towards a loan so my payment doesn't go up? And I said to the customer, bro, I'm not a financial planner. I legally can't give you that advice, but I will tell you what I would do. What I would do is I would use that $10,000 tax credit to pay off a $11,000 debt with 11% interest that you're only paying interest on, not getting out of debt, and your payment's going to go up $40 over here, $40 over 300 interest only. That's what I would do. Customer says to me, that makes sense. That's what I'm going to do. Now, I didn't give him the advice. I told him what I would do. The point, Mr. Customer, is that it's your money. You can do whatever you want. You could put it towards a loan, or you could put it to remodel your kitchen, go on vacation. That's your money, whatever you want. The point that I'm getting to is that I'm telling a story. Can we agree? Facts tell, stories sell. If you just talk about the facts, people want to know the stories. How has this benefited somebody else? How has this benefited some of your customers? And if you don't have a customer yet, guess what? Talk about my customers. Talk about some other people's customers. When I'm recruiting people, I was talking to a solar professional the other day, last week, and he's been in business about 6 years. I said, bro, you've been knocking on doors for 6 years? Yeah. I got a guy that's 6 months in the industry. His name is Lewis. 3 weeks ago, he closed 10 deals in 1 week. Have you ever closed 10 deals in a week? He says, no. I said, not only that, he did it from home. The guy's like, damn. I said, not only that, he doesn't door knock. 90% of our sales are via Zoom. He's 6 months in the industry. You're 1 month, he made 40 grand that week. How much you make 3 weeks ago? Did you make 40 grand 3 weeks ago? Guy's like, I sure didn't. I said, see, it's different at Powur. That's why I'm telling you. If you've been door knocking for 6 years, what about 6 years from now? You might still be door knocking and chasing those leads. The point is, I'm telling them stories. Facts tell, stories sell. Top sales professionals tell stories. We're all used to, when we were kids, we were told bedtime stories, not bedtime facts. And then work hard. I mean, that should go without saying, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but work hard. You got to be willing to work without pay in order to get paid without work. And I want you to write this quote down. This is one of my favorite quotes. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. There's so many talented people. Man, I got a lot of them on my team. They're freaking talented, but they're lazy. Then you got an untalented dud who's untalented, but the guy's willing to go out there and fall on his face. Then he comes back and says, Coach, do you need me to do it again? Then I say, don't ask me that question, because it's always the same answer. Just do it. Pick yourself up from the bootstraps. Come and tell me where you went wrong. I'm going to tell you how to overcome that, how to handle it, what you should have done, what you shouldn't have done, and then go out there and do it and get better every time. That guy's going to smoke the people. Smoke them. There's people that are on this Zoom right now, never sold solar before. In 1 year, they're going to outproduce entire company. 1 or 2 years, there's people here haven't sold a solar deal in their life till this date, have not. You wait where they're going to be in the next 18 to 24 months. Smoke the whole company. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about people that are on here right now. They know who they are. Why? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And guess what, though? But the system has a lot to do with it. So that's what we're doing. We're creating the system. Imagine if you had 10 people from your organization on this training today. How many people would like to have 10 people from their organization on this training today? Where would your business be? How many people? Now, if you think that's good, guess what? Having those, David raises his hand. I want you guys to understand this. Imagine that here. What about a whole weekend with myself, Charles Thompson, Jonathan Brunasso? Do you guys know Jonathan Brunasso's best month was about $140,000 in 1 month? 140 G's in a month. He's going to be training at the event. Keenan Garcia is going to be training at the event. I mean, you got the cream of the crop, the tip of the top, the drip of the drop going to be training at this event. Does that make sense? So it isn't about you getting your ticket there. No, 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 no. You know what you should do? You should go on the website and buy 5 tickets if you want 5 people to be there. Say, I got the tickets at a discount. When they're $199, you say, hey, I got you, fam. I got extra tickets at $149. That is what a champion does. It isn't about you. It's real estate. This is a real estate play. Guess what? The real estate that we're talking about is the seats. How many butts can you put in those seats? It isn't about you getting there. That's, you're thinking small time. How many people from your team will you have at the event? That event is 100 people. I guarantee it's going to sell out. I guarantee it's going to sell out. Then you can wait another year. But what if you have 3 people, 5 people, 10 people that show up to that event, learn, immerse themselves? If you go live in Italy for a year, you're going to come back speaking Italian because you immersed yourself in that culture. If you immerse yourself this weekend with the top performers in the entire company, you're going to be 18 months ahead of the people that didn't show up. But guess what? It takes you investing in yourself. And don't confuse it. It isn't for mentors. It's to create people that are not mentors into the highest performing mentors, and to take existing mentors and create them into better performing mentors. There's people from outside of our team that see the value. They're coming to this event. Okay, finally, let's close it off. The follow-up. Many salespeople fail to effectively follow up. Okay, but they don't realize, here's the statistics. This is so incredibly important. Your follow-up game has to be on point with recruits. We're talking about recruits and sales. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 48%. I just closed a deal last week. Matter of fact, it was Lisa Padilla's cousin. He had a proposal. The guy came to his house, presented to him. He says, hey, let's schedule another time for you to come back. And he called him and told them, I'm ready to go. The sales guy never even showed up to close the sale. The sale was done. Lisa couldn't believe it. He lives in Northern California. He happened to be over here working in the Valley. We met up with them. We closed them, right? It's about a $6,800 commission that we're splitting. Guess what? He's looking at the videos right now, today, because he wants to join the business as well. That's a pretty damn good home run, right? You sell them solar and you recruit them to sell solar. That's pretty damn good. And let me tell you something, we do a lot of that. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. But here's the deal. First of all, let's understand this. So now we know the follow-up. These are the averages. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Only 2%. Now, are there some industries where these are better numbers? Absolutely. Our industry, our company is a significantly higher than 2%. But this is just sales in general. 3% of sales on the second contact, 5% on the third contact, 10% are made on the fourth contact, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. Right now, Portia and I, we're working on a deal. We've got the guy already, he says, send me the documents. We ran his credit. He qualified, he just hasn't signed. It's been over a week. You better believe we're going to be following up with them this week. The wife told her, we're ready to go. But my husband just procrastinates like that. The wife is on board. She's telling the husband to sign the contract. Guess what? We're going to follow up. But one of the major things is this. If you master prospecting, filling your pipeline, that will avoid commission breath. Then in addition to that, you follow up on these people. Don't stop the prospecting. Remember, have a DMO, daily method of operation. What is your daily method of operation? Well, Monday through Thursday, I prospect, and then Saturdays, I prospect. I go door knocking these days, or new homeowners, or whatever the case may be. From this time to this time, and that's just what I do. It's just what I do. I just master the mundane. And then here's my pitch. I say this word for word. Here's some common objections. Here's what I answer. I just master the mundane. Right? And you follow up on these people, there's no way. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I would encourage you guys, let's take this information. And by the way, you're not going to get everything from this one training. If you watch this training again, you're going to catch some things that you didn't catch the first time. This training is going to be on the YouTube channel, and we're going to put it in the groups here later. You want to make sure that every single body in your organization watches this training. Okay, because I know that a lot of people, they work right now, they're at work, they can't get on, so a lot of people watch the recording. Make sure that they watch it, and I recommend you watch it again. And to finish off, guys, here's what I would recommend. Make sure that if you haven't bought your ticket to the event, buy your ticket to the event. Especially some of you guys have told me, JC, I'm gonna go buy that ticket to the event. I would say buy your ticket to the event. If you can make it 2 other events on a weekend that are not to build your business, you should be able to find a reason to make it to this event. That would be my recommendation. Okay, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys found value in this training. Make sure you guys go to solarmentorfactory.com. You could go through the Eventbrite link, but the Eventbrite link has, and I don't want to take it out because a lot of people, that's the only way they know how to buy the tickets. The fees are a little bit higher on Eventbrite. So if you go to solarmentorfactory.com, you can buy your tickets there. Right now, between now and October 20th, they're $148 single or $149 single or $249 for a couple. That price is going to go up to $199 and $349 on October 20th. So you want to make sure that you get those tickets ASAP, because it's going to be an amazing event. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm looking at some of you guys here that told me, JC, I'm going to go buy my ticket. I'm going to be following up with your ass today. If by 5 o'clock you haven't bought your ticket, I'm going to follow you. Your phone's going to be ringing and you know who you are. So let's go get your tickets. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You guys know I get excited about this. It's going to be good, man. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, JC. Appreciate you.
Thanks.